Alright guys, so we're back with some more Cyberpunk 2077 information. In the last video we talked about a little bit older information, and this time we're doing the exact same thing. People pointed out in the comments of the last video that some of that stuff has already been talked about, and it's like, well yeah, I know, I addressed that at the beginning of that video, and I'm doing it at the beginning of this video too. This is older information. It's new to me, it's going to be newer to other people. People were commenting saying that the stuff I talked about in the last video was talked about like last year, but we were talking about some tweets that happened like a week ago, so there's clearly people who are not aware of this information. And that's the point of me doing these videos, going back and looking up information for the game. I'm learning stuff and I'm making videos, and there's going to be other people who don't know this stuff either. Not everybody's keeping up with every single thing involved in this game. Anyways, that stuff out of the way, let's hop into today's video. About 2 weeks ago, Projekt Red did a financial results presentation for 2018. It's something that you easily could have missed unless you keep up with everything that they do, or if a YouTuber out there talked about it, which there has been some, of course. Obviously, this is going to be full of a lot of boring stuff, just a bunch of stats and numbers, but there are a few takeaways from this event. First up, it seems like Cyberpunk 2077 is immensely more hyped than Witcher 3 was. What you're looking at here, the graph on the right, the 6 yellow bars are the 6 most popular videos on YouTube involving Witcher 3, and the 2 like light blue bars on the right are their 2 Cyberpunk 2077 videos, which have ton more, millions and millions of more views. Those 2 videos alone have more views than like those 6 videos. It's kind of crazy. This is to be expected a little bit though, because the Witcher games were kind of popular. They had their own audience, right? But Witcher 3 really blew them up. That game was a resounding success, so there's going to be a lot more eyes on them and any other games that they put out after Witcher 3. And this is their first like new IP. It is, again, it's not a brand new IP because it's a pen and paper game, but it's their first new IP after the Witcher series, like ever, the whole time they've been a studio. But it's crazy to think how popular Witcher 3 was and how hyped that game was, and to see that Cyberpunk, with only 2 videos within the first month, got way more views, way more traction than Witcher did initially. Ultimately, this doesn't actually mean anything. It's just views on YouTube. This doesn't mean that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to outsell Witcher 3, though I think it probably will. They even tell you in the financial report not to draw too many far-reaching conclusions, which I agree with, of course, but it does seem like the game is more hyped than Witcher 3 was. It seems like there's a lot more interest in this game initially. Next up, they talk about Next Gen and the Red engine, which is an engine they created back in 2011. They first used it with Witcher 2, then of course Witcher 3, and now Cyberpunk 2077. They claim they designed it to be transferable, so when the next generation of consoles come out, they should be able to transition pretty easily, and this leads a lot of people to believe that this game will come out next gen as well. It's 100% coming out this generation of console. There's kind of people that are questioning that, but this game's been in the works since like 2012, 2013. We've known about Cyberpunk 2077. It's 100% coming out this generation, but there's a good chance that maybe when next gen consoles come out like next year or 2021, that there might be like an enhanced version of this game that comes out on those consoles. On to some info we got from the Projekt Red Forums, where we had official people answering questions. People were wondering if certain areas of the city are going to be locked off by the story, similar to like kind of if you look at like older Grand Theft Auto games, you got to progress through the story to get to the different areas and islands or whatever. Simply put, the answer is no. Once you progress through the story a little bit, you'll be able to freely roam Night City, similar to how you could just freely roam the map in Witcher 3. Me personally, I didn't question this. I assumed based off of Witcher 3 that that's how the game was going to be, but I guess it's good to get the actual confirmation. Next up, we learned about something called Street Cred, which some of you might already know about. It's been known about for a while, but of course for me it's brand new information. They say, along with a traditional XP system, players can garner Street Cred by completing side missions and jobs in the city. The player's reputation is then used to unlock access to new vendors and contacts throughout Night City, allowing them to complete new missions. So this seems pretty cool. It's an entirely optional thing. Like, you don't have to involve yourself in the Street Cred if you don't want to, which just kind of adds to the immersion aspect of the game. If you just want to play the story, you can. Don't even worry about all the side stuff. But if you invest your time into getting your Street Cred up, you're going to get access to new contacts and new vendors. People have asked a couple of questions based around the gender of our character and how it will affect the game, and it seems like established characters will remain the same. Jackie, who's somebody we've seen in the gameplay, stays a man regardless of whether we are male or female. But it turns out one of the other things we got from this is that there's actually companions in the game. There's already one that we've seen called T-Bug, I guess. This is new to me. Again, a lot of you out there might have already known there's companions in the game, but it's kind of cool to know that there is. Another question that was asked is whether or not quests and dialogue will play out differently depending on our gender, and to the best of our knowledge, it'll be slightly different, because obviously they got to refer to you as a him or a her or whatever the case, but to what degree it'll actually affect the game, we don't know. It's a little too early. I think it would be pretty cool if there is a difference between your genders on how quests and story can play out, because if you're a female talking to guys, you should be able to like kind of coerce them, use your sex appeal to get them to do what you want, similar to like if the Fallout games when you take like the confirmed bachelor perks and stuff like that. If something as simple as using a different gender on another playthrough can change the game, that just promotes multiple playthroughs even more. Next up, we learned from a podcast that quest designer Philip Weber and level designer Miles Tost did with the German magazine GameStar that the quests within Cyberpunk 2077 are going to be more complex than the Witcher 3 quests. An example they gave was a quest where the player had to drop the guns. Different scenarios after giving away the gun have been designed, but then somebody mentioned that the player could also insist not to drop the gun. Thus, the whole quest needed to be worked on again. So pretty much there was a quest where you had to drop your guns, and the quest played out from there. But then somebody else came up with the idea of, well, couldn't you just not drop your guns at all? And they went back and added that to the quest as well, so that it plays out in different ways. They also said that the overall quality of quests will be better because the organization of the team got improved. E.g., the use of the Witcher sense in Witcher 3 was a central element in quests too often. While a single quest designer might not have seen this, the player noticed that in the end, seeing all quests together. While I completely understand what they're saying here, this is kind of the whole theme of the Witcher games, though, is you're a Witcher. You have these enhanced senses that you're able to see, smell, and notice things that other people can't. Plus, the Witcher sense is something you could use outside of questing. You could use it just to see if there's enemies around you and also notice loot around you. It's something that you just use all the time within the game, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't think it was a detriment to the game in the slightest. We also learned from quest designer Philip Weber that you can solve quests in different ways depending on what skills you have. And this kind of gives me those Fallout vibes, again, using Fallout as an example. If you have certain special stats high enough or certain skills high enough or have certain perks unlocked, you can solve quests in different ways through dialogue options, through hacking, through lockpicking, etc. This I absolutely like. My character build will matter more so than just my character being a badass, kicking ass. It might come up later on in a quest where I can actually do something because of a skill I actually unlocked. I absolutely love stuff like this from the Fallout games in the early days of playing a newer Fallout game where you're just kind of building your character and you have no idea what's going to be useful, and then you go to talk to somebody and you have a dialogue option because your intelligence is high enough or like your guns is high enough. You can say certain things to them and solve quests in a different way, and that's just fun to me. And I think that'll wrap up today's video. Again, all this was older information. Some of it or most of it you might have already known, but hopefully you at least learned something new about Cyberpunk 2077. It was all new information to me as of recording the video. I don't want to keep making videos on older information that's already been out there for a while, but I can't really make videos on new info if there's no new info out there. And again, pretty much anything involving this game is new information to me because I wasn't really paying attention to this game since they kind of gave us the 48-minute gameplay last year. I was just focused on Fallout 76 at the time, so I've missed out on pretty much everything involved in this game. So for me, it's a lot of new information, and there's got to be people out there who have not learned this stuff either. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something new about Cyberpunk 2077. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid. And my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description. Ending the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while. Give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby. Or at least less like